Good morning and welcome to Ask the Expert, an award-winning daily series from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. to help small businesses across the UK. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments on the live feed or whatever social media platform you're watching this from. And if you need any more advice, please then join the official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook. There's accountants, business owners and business experts in there on hand 24/7, answering everyone's questions and sharing their knowledge and experiences. During the live session, we'll be running a poll, so please engage with that and I'll reveal the results at the end. My name is Johann Goree and I am the Managing Director of the OnPoint Accounting Group. We have a number of accounting brands and accounting firms, all focusing on small and micro businesses and helping them to launch and get established. So I was on 2.5 weeks ago, I think it was. We were just getting used to the first wave of opening up again, and the second wave was imminent with the new rules. And that's it, we're open. Most of the restrictions are gone at the moment. There's going to be another removal of restrictions soon, hopefully. But what we're starting to see is lots of reports coming in from the media of business footfall being down on the high street from 2019 versus now and stuff like that. And a lot of my clients are coming saying, oh, should we be worried about this? And I just always turn them back to their own figures, because a lot of our clients aren't struggling at the moment. They're doing really, really well. They're really bouncing back strong from COVID. But the media is painting out a more negative picture. But when you look into the sources of those figures, they're looking at all the bigger firms. So all the big brands that you see on the high street, they're still not seeing the same recovery, same figures from their recovery as they saw in 2019. But actually what we're seeing across all of our client base for all our firms is small and micro businesses are thriving at the moment. There's absolutely loads of positivity, lots of customers that started using them through the pandemic when the big businesses were closed or restrictive. They've now continued to use them as suppliers and continue to be customers to those small micro businesses, even though the big companies are now reopened. So it's absolutely fantastic news for micro and small businesses out there at the moment. But the main challenge that they're all facing, and I'm hearing this all the time, is staff recruitment. No one's able to fill the roles they've got quickly and easily. Now, this is due to a lot of different reasons, but I just wanted to go through a few things that you could do as a micro or small business to try and make your job offer a bit more appealing to the audience that you're trying to advertise to. So the first thing is stating that you're offering a competitive rate of pay, and actually it being national minimum wage. That's not competitive, that's compulsory. That's you just being compliant with the government. A competitive wage needs to be higher than that. So what I always encourage all of my clients to do is to sign up to the Living Wage Foundation and to offer the living wage. By signing up to the Living Wage Foundation, you'll get some logos, you get a certificate, you'll be certified as a living wage employer, and that will give you, so if you're a coffee shop and you're advertising for baristas, and there's 4 other coffee shops in town advertising for baristas, and they're all offering minimum wage, you're offering living wage, and you've got that nice little badge on your advert saying you're a living wage employer, it says a lot about you, your company, your ethics, your morals, and your culture, and it will hopefully drive a lot more applicants to you compared to your competitors. Another thing that we are seeing is people want to maintain flexible work-life balances. So if you run a graphics design business or any other kind of office-based businesses historically have been office-based, your employees want flexibility. Some are going to want to work from the office all the time. Some are going to want to work from home all the time. Others would like a hybrid. If you turn around to your employees and say, you've got to work in the office now COVID's over, and we've gone back to some form of normality, yet they want to work from home, they want the flexibility, and one of your competitors is offering that flexibility, then you need to react to it and you need to offer the flexibility. Otherwise, you're going to lose the talent to other competitors. So if you're in an environment where you can offer flexible work, where they can start and stop kind of when they need to do around the school runs, they can work from home some days, they can come to the office, then that's a fantastic way to maintain some of the talent within your business and to attract talent from other businesses who aren't offering that flexible working situation. If you're advertising, you want driven people that that aspire to do better and to step up and develop their careers, make it really clear in your job advertisement, in your interview process, the developmental opportunities within your business. So I talk to lots of people that say, oh, I want someone that's really driven, really ambitious. Okay, what part of your job advert tells someone that is ambitious and driven that is going to be rewarded? That's an opportunity. There's opportunity to be driven towards something within your company. Because a lot of the time, there's absolutely no talk about the future that potential new employee has with you. It's just about the now and here and now, and this job that you're advertising. So make sure you always offer the opportunities that your business can give a new employee, regardless of what role they're applying for. Make it clear in your advertising and your interview process the career development that you're going to potentially offer them, if they're good at their job, obviously. Another thing we've started to see is benefits becoming more and more popular. So a lot of companies are offering things like life insurance as part of their benefits package. So the employer will pay for the life insurance. This kind of is like a death in service arrangement. So if you pass away while you're working for them, the insurance company will pay out X amount of thousands of pounds to your next of kin. There's a lot more companies offering private medical insurance. A lot of companies see that as a bit of an insurance against sickness for themselves. So if you are ill, the potential to see a consultant, get treated and recover quicker is higher through private medical care than it is through the NHS. As much as I love and support the NHS, and I'll always go to them first, as a business owner, if I can get a staff member who's ill seen, treated and recovered quicker, then that's better for my business. Income protection insurance has been offered. So it's like an insurance policy against sick pay. You could easily offer someone statutory sick pay, and then instead of having to have a really expensive sick pay arrangement in your policy in your contracts, like the NHS, if you're off sick, you can have up to 6 months sick full pay and then 3 months half pay, or at least that used to be the case. Whereas what you could do is take an income protection policy out for your employees, and that will pay them for as long as they need, 80% of their wage for as long as they need. It saves you as an employer having to give them a sick pay policy that is really expensive to you. Other things that employees really appreciate are things like perks, little gift boxes. So there's like subscription services out there you can get where each week they'll get sent access to an app, or they'll get sent a Sky Cinema ticket, or a little box of chocolates or something. Just nice little things to help them feel appreciated. Another thing I've seen some people do recently is talk to their current employees and say, look, we're looking to fill these jobs, we're struggling a bit. If you know anyone that can take on this job and would do a good job, let us know, make the introduction, and we'll incentivize you to do that through a financial reward or extra days holiday or a gift. So it's kind of like a referral scheme when, when I turn around to our clients and say, can you refer someone that's like yourself? And in return, I'll give you a discount on your invoice, or I'll give you a gift. You can take the same approach to employing people if you wanted to. And ultimately, celebrate your team. Social media is fantastic. Show off your team to social media. Show the world of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram the people that work in your business, because it gives a really good idea of the type of team you've got, your cultures, your morals, your ethics. So share who's in your team. Tell the world about what they love doing, what they love about the job, what day's their favorite day of the week, what's their favorite color, things like that, because it's personal, it's relatable, and it travels well on social media. But also celebrate when your team do a great job. We're all very used to this employee of the month thing that no one really ever works towards. The management team sit there and they kind of come up with who's done well this month? Well, so-and-so's not been in trouble. So-and-so's not been late. We'll give it to him. But just spontaneous recognition of team members. So if someone's done a really great job, just send them a bottle of wine or something as a well done. And it's really appreciated, and that will really keep your team's morale high. The word of mouth travels so fast. Oh, the boss sent me this bottle of wine on Friday for doing such a good job on this bit of work I did. Totally out of the blue, complete surprise. It's fantastic. So hopefully that helps you overcome some of the staff recruitment problems that we're seeing in micro and small businesses at the moment. Let's move on to some questions. Okay, we've got our first question in from Yuzman on Twitter DM. Hi, Johann. In 2 months, I'm going freelance for the first time. I want to have hassle-free processes for my accounts and record keeping. Any tips to make this work? Okay, so hassle-free accounts and record keeping. Ultimately, get QuickBooks. So you have the QuickBooks app on your phone, and then it's all about behaviors, habits, routines. So when you spend some money from your company bank account, take a picture using the QuickBooks app of the receipt, and that receipt goes on, and that's it. The records are kept nice and orderly. Personally, I do receipt capture at the time. The first job I do in the morning is I go into QuickBooks and I reconcile all my bank accounts. And that way I know my books are up to date for the last 24 hours. And go and get professional advice from day one. So find an accountant. The QuickBooks website has a find a QuickBooks advisor, pro advisor listings. You can put in your postcode. It will come up with who's local to you. But remember, with QuickBooks, the beauty is it doesn't have to be local to you. The accountant can be anywhere in the UK and helping you to look after your records and accounts remotely. So go to the QuickBooks Pro Advisor listings, search for someone that you like the look of, maybe contact a few of them, get some prices in, just because it's really important to get that advice right from the day one and make sure you're on the right track and you're doing everything correctly. So they're my 2 key tips. Get QuickBooks. 3 key tips. QuickBooks, routines and behaviors. Get into a routine of doing everything daily. Don't let it build up because it becomes an absolute nightmare. And get a QuickBooks Pro Advisor accountant from the advisor listing, either local or anywhere in the UK that you want to work with. Hope that helps. Fiona from Instagram DM. I have a side hustle around my main job, doing content writing. I now make about £1,000 a month. Do I need to declare this? And if so, how do I reconcile this income with my payee? Hi, Fiona. So you definitely need to declare this. Any more than £1,000 a year has to be declared to HMRC. So the simplest way for you to do this will be to declare it with a self-assessment tax return each year to HMRC. So you need to register as self-employed to HMRC. They'll then ask you to do a tax return each year, at which point you'll declare all your income from the side hustle, as you call it, and you can declare your expenses from the so-called side hustle. And then you'll also, in this tax return, put your payee in there, and the tax return on the HMRC website will help calculate what's remaining left to pay for your tax. So I hope that helps. If you're not sure, you're not comfortable using HMRC's website, or you're wanting to check any more in detail, because these circumstances are very much tailored to each person, definitely have a chat with an accountant and they'll be able to help you out, I'm sure. So yeah, hope that helps. We have a question from Denise on Facebook Messenger. Denise says, we're so busy. I got all my staff back for reopening, and I'm currently finding we don't have enough people to get everything done right now. I have the cash now to bring someone else on, but may not later when it tapers off. What should I do? So this is a really tough situation, Denise. Without seeing all your cash flow and your projections, I don't know. So if you've got an accountant, have a chat with them, because they should be able to sit down with you and go through your cash flow planning and say, right, you can take someone on now, and this is what you've got to achieve to maintain that person's role. The other option is that you just offer a three-month employment contract, or 6 month, however long you feel it's going to be for someone until the business tapers off. And if it doesn't taper off, you carry on doing well, you just extend that contract. I think everyone seems to think, oh, once I employ someone, they're employed for life. It's very commonplace to see contracts that are for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and ongoing. So don't worry too much. If you think you've got a few months before it tapers off, get an advertisement out there, explain to them the situation, so that they are clear that it's a 3-month contract and this is what you're going to be doing. But then talk to your accountant, work on the cash flow, see what you've got to do to maintain that success that you're having now, and see if it's achievable to maintain that, and go from there, really. But yeah, you've got two options. You either offer a full-time open contract, which could go forever. But if you're worried about that, go down to the 3 months or 6 months contract options and look at it from that point of view. Kelly on Twitter DM says, thanks, Johann, for all the advice regarding hiring. Lots of ideas for benefits, but how much does a full package like that cost the business? So to give you some kind of idea, Kelly, for me to provide medical insurance to all 9 employees in my business costs £200 a month. Life insurance per person is between £13 and £18 a month. Income protection depends on their health records, etc., but that can be between £15 and £25, £35. I have seen it as high as £85 for someone that's got a lot of health issues. But what you can do is write out a policy and say, right, we offer you these benefits, and the company will pay up to this amount for each benefit. If that doesn't cover your premium, then you, as an employee, you can top that up so you get the full benefit. But the best thing to do is have a chat with a financial advisor who will offer all these services. So as an accounting firm, we've got financial advisors within our accounting group so that we can offer these services to all our clients and our employees and stuff without any hassle. But any financial advisor will be able to help you do this. And they'll give you a much better idea of costs on a personal level. So I hope that helps. Alan on Facebook Messenger. There does seem to be a bit of a shortage in hospitality industry. Why do you think this is? I think all the stuff you outlined is helpful, but how can a restaurant or bar really make their role seem better than a similar role down the road? So I've got a client who's faced exactly this problem, Alan, and he is much more successful in recruiting than anyone else in the local area for a few reasons. One is he's a living wage employer, the others aren't. The other one is he offers, he guarantees that you'll only work X amount of time, weekends a month. A third one is he offers a free taxi if you finish past 11 o'clock at night to get you home. And ultimately, the culture and the word of mouth, in effect, is much better. He is known as a good employer. He gives out bonuses when the staff are working hard without it being a structured bonus, as it were. So it's not a guaranteed bonus that every June they're going to get a bonus. It's a, you know what, we've had a really good 2 months over summer. As a thank you, here's a bonus. So he's got a really good reputation as a good, fair employer. He expects you to work hard, but he incentivizes and rewards you appropriately. So if you've got a good reputation locally as an employer, that will help. When people see adverts, people will say, oh, he's meant to be a really good employer type thing. We always see Asda, I think QuickBooks actually were nominated voted as the second best employer in the UK just a few weeks ago. So we see those big press releases for the big companies, and Asda for years were the best employer. McDonald's had a best employer status for a long time. That boils down to a smaller level as well. So locally, there will be a reputation associated to you and your business as to what you're like for both customer service, but also employment. So if you know you've got a good reputation locally, that will help. If you haven't, maybe something to look at and work on. But ask around and just say, what do you know about this pub? What they like as employers? Just ask people you don't know, obviously, and just see what the feedback's like. So I hope that helps. Hugh on Instagram DM, what's the best way to forecast the upcoming months, considering how up and down income has generally been? We've seen a massive increase in this month, but that's after several slow months. It can be a bit of a finger in the air kind of job, Hugh. The best thing to do is, depending on your business, to try and look at averages. Personally, I always forecast the worst case scenario. I always forecast the biggest expenses for staffing, etc. And I always forecast the lowest average for income, so we can work out how much we're going to face, how much work we need to put in to maintain a high sales. And we come up with an action plan of how that sales is going to be achieved. And target your team on it if you've got a team. I said to my team, in the next 6 months, I want to increase our monthly recurring revenue by £11,000. In the last 3 weeks, they've increased it by £1,000 already through new customers and new services being offered. So just target and encourage your team to, with your targets and your actions and your goals, to help buy into it, to help you grow, and that will help stabilize what you need to achieve. We've got a message in from Lola on Facebook Messenger. So happy to have my boutique on the high street open again. However, footfall hasn't been as strong as I'd hoped for so far. I'm all right for now, but if I need to make some cuts in my outgoings, what should I consider? So there's lots of things there you could consider. Have a look at your cost of sales, so any products you're buying in. Have a look at your staffing, not to make redundancies, but to look at, are there people stood around? Are there better things they could be doing? Could they be offering a different service instead of being stood around? But I always encourage that you look to boost your sales, not cut your costs. So have a look at your advertising, spread the word on social media, you've got a staff member that's been stood around for a few hours, they could have been out leafleting, things like that. So make use of your current assets. I hope that helps. Daniela on Twitter DM. I used to run a business that shipped from Europe to the UK. I stopped a while back, but thinking of relaunching. Now we're on the other side of Brexit. I'm unsure about VAT. Do I pay it or does the customer? Danielle, this is an absolute landmine, and you need to speak to someone who's completely up to speed on the UK EU VAT rules. I don't deal with it very much, so I'm not up to date with that. I'll put my hands up there. I know services differ from products. It depends where the product is being shipped from and where to. So definitely find yourself an accountant to get some free advice from who's got experience dealing with the current EU, UK imports and exports and VAT rules, because it's all changed considerably in the last 6 months. And it's not something I've had to look at recently in the last 6 months. So I wouldn't want to be able to advise you either way on that one, I'm afraid. But definitely have a chat with some accountants. I'm sure someone will be able to help, or even post the question in the QuickBooks SMB group, and I'm sure there's some accountants on there that will be able to help and would give you 20 minutes of their time on the phone to help answer. And a question coming from Cassie on Instagram DM. As part of my work, I rent out a shared studio space with another sole trader. It's a monthly expense, but comes out of my account. Should this be put down as 2 separate expenses, half me and half rechargeable to the person I share the space with, or is there an easier way of doing this? Ultimately, if the money comes out of your account and then money goes into your account, what you just need to make sure you do is attribute both of those transactions to rent in your accounting system. So I would have a rent on my chart of accounts. I would have, say, £500 goes out, 250 comes in. I'd associate that with that so it shows a true reflection of the rent you're paying. So that should be the simplest way of doing it. But if you're not sure, have a chat with an accountant, and I'm sure they'll be able to help once they know more about you. Okay, so our last question for today, that half an hour has flown by. Coming from Facebook Messenger from Tahir. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I'm self-employed, but I need to bring in a subcontractor who's registered as a limited company for one of my clients' upcoming projects. When it comes to invoicing the client, do I save 20% for tax of the total amount invoiced, and with what's left over, pay the subcontractor? Okay, you definitely need to go and speak to an accountant who has got experience and understands the new IR35 rules, and to work, because that way you can work out, or you can go onto the HMRC website and have a look at their IR35 questionnaire, because what you need to work out is whether the contracts are impacted by IR35 in the first place. If they're not, you just invoice the company for the project and pay the invoice you receive from the contractor. Nice and simple. If it is covered by IR35 though, then you need to definitely get expert advice. Again, I don't deal with contractors very often, so I'm aware of IR35. I've got the rough idea about it, but I don't know the ins and outs, and I'd need a lot more detail from yourself to answer your question, I'm afraid. So have a chat with an accountant who's got experience with IR35 would be my advice on that one. Okay, so the polls results are in. We asked you, has your turnover increased since restrictions have eased? 50% of you said yes, 50% of you said no. So that's positive news for 50% of you. I think there is a surge out there for some industries and some services. If you've not seen a turnover, that could be because of the industry or service you're offering. But there's a lot of support out there to help small businesses, to encourage small businesses. People want to spend money with small businesses at the moment, so try and take advantage of that if you can. So that's everything for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to get in contact with me, you can send me a message on LinkedIn. Just search Johann Goree, JohannGoree. I would probably be the only one that appears. Coming up on Ask the Expert tomorrow is Victoria Shepherd, co-founder of the Speciality Coffee Shop and Queen of Mayfair. With the background in PR and marketing within the hospitality sector, she'll be sharing advice on how to kickstart your business as we come out of the lockdown. Remember, if you need any more advice on anything we've discussed today or any questions that you haven't asked us, to ask them in the QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook. There's accountants, business experts, and business owners on there 24/7 answering questions all the time. I really enjoyed answering your questions today, so thank you very much and have a great day.